please take your seats. What a tremendous pleasure it is to welcome all of you here tonight. I think, as someone said to me, this is a program of epic proportions, and you are unser Städtel. So thank you for coming. You make all of this possible. This community has made possible the YIVO Institute for many, 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 many years. And I'm so pleased that tonight we have the chairman of the YIVO board with us, Ruth Rubin. And I am Jonathan Brent, executive director of YIVO. This is, I know you've all been waiting very patiently, so I don't want to take up very much time, but there are a couple of announcements. And the first is that I want to thank our partners, our co-sponsors for this event, the Center for Traditional Music and Dance. And Yiddish New York. And I want to thank, in particular, the two people who really made this. When they first showed it to me, I was astounded at the beauty of this website, at the importance of it, which was evident from the beginning. But there are three people who are really responsible for this. Eléonore Biezunski. The great Lorin Sklamberg. And Robbie Newman. The Max and Frida Weinstein archive of YIVO sound recordings is one of the great unknown treasures of the YIVO Institute. And this website is the first step in making all of the great treasures this archive has available to the general public. So thank you all for coming. Please be in touch with me or with Alex or with Ben or with Lorin or Eléonore or Robbie Newman if you want to know more about the YIVO Institute, if you don't know enough already. Thank you very much.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. So this concert you're about to hear is based on materials on display on YIVO's Ruth Rubin online exhibition, which we proudly launched this past April. Please do visit the website. There's more information in your program.
Yeah, over the last couple of years, we've organized Ruth's priceless field recordings into an easy-to-use online exhibition. To date, we've made available over 1,900 songs.
Yeah.
Some of the treasures of which we'll hear tonight, and the site includes artwork, manuscripts, and video footage from Ruth's long and amazing career. And we add new material weekly, so please come back and visit. Also, outside in the Great Hall, there's an exhibition of artifacts from Ruth Rubin's papers, and do take a look at them after the concert this evening.
We are thrilled to present tonight's performers and speakers and thank them for their enthusiastic participation. Unfortunately, Jeanette Lewicki is ill and recuperating at home, so she won't be here with us tonight, but we wish us rechten Fuß, alle.
Again, thanks to Yiddish New York and the Center for Traditional Music and Dance for co-sponsoring this event, and to supporters of Yiddish New York, the Atran Foundation, Marius and Minna B. Koester Foundation, Lower Manhattan Cultural Council, National Endowment for the Arts, Covenant Foundation, Jonathan Sunshine, Weisberg Bird Family, and the Sholem Aleichem Cultural Center. Please do silence your cell phones. We have some a cappella ballads that would not want to be interrupted. In your program, you'll find all the song lyrics and translations for tonight's concert. Please feel free to sing along when the spirit moves you, as Ruth herself would have done and expected. And now, here's Ruth Rubin's legacy of Yiddish song. Please welcome our first performer, Sasha Lurje.
Let me introduce the next singer, which is Michael Alpert. Right there.
Thank you. I feel like I'm seeing everyone I've ever met in my life since 1979 here. I'm going to sing a version of a song that Ruth, I think, probably made popular to the whole world, the song Papiere sich weiß, But I'm going to sing a version that I know from a wonderful singer that I came to know in the course of my work with the Soviet Jewish community here, Bronya Sakina, who was born in 1910 in Galavanyevsk, Golvanisk in Podolia in Ukraine. And it's longer. So gesund. C maybe. Somebody got a C?
Who is the fiddle in there?
Noi Papiere sag weiß, en sag schwarz. Sie dir man teier Leben, sie brennt in mir mein Herz. Ich wollt nicht geschlafen, dran der Reihen on. A Kist in dan schöne Peinemel, in der roten Bad ein Hund. Oi wenn Nächten bin ich auf a Hussen wohl gewein. In a viele schöne Mädelach hab ich dorten gesehen. Nur viele schöne Mädelach zum Rivke kommt nicht gut. Mit deiner schwarzen Kegelach, mit dein schönem Rasgavor. Oi dein Talle, dein Figure, dein schön edler Fasson. In meinem Herzen brennt a Feier, keiner sieht nicht ohne dem Flom. In meinem Herzen brennt a Feier, keiner sieht nicht dem Reuch. Oi der Ajur, sie warten auf dir, hab schon nicht kein Koyach. Oi wie einer beit auf Kleider, in der zweiter beit auf Geld, in der dritter beit auf Mosel, in der vierte auf a Gitterwelt. Noch beit auf a Stibale, auf dem Gruse dem Grinem, als ich mit meiner Teier leben, soll wohnen in der Ihnen. Nur beit auf a Stibale, auf dem Gruß dem Grinem, als ich mit meiner Teier leben, sollen wohnen in der Ihnen. In a Denzmult, in a Denzmult, wollt ihr gewiss in an Welt. Ich wollt ständig gejackert, in gesehen durchs Feld. Mit vielen Vergenigen wollt ihr die Zeit verbracht. Sie sitzen und sie schmissen mit mein Geliebter auf der Nacht. Mit vielen Vergenigen wollt ihr die Zeit verbracht. Sie sitzen und sie schmissen mit mein Geliebter auf der Nacht. Oi wie Gott en jo, die warf mich nicht darauf. In der Glach mir nicht, sie kam Bäumen, sie kein Salub. Du hast Zweigale, von den Bäumale, sie blitzig sehr schein. Oi wie glücklich wollt ihr sie geschätzt, zu der Chippe mit dir gehen. Nur a Schiefale, oi schief sich nur gleich. In a Schiff mach a Rieber, auf jener Satach. In der nur dem sollst die unheuben, sie laufen, men sie schwimmen. Nicht der Leben soll der Mensch, wo's Gott a heilig in der Innen. In der nur dem sollst die unheuben, sie laufen, men sie schwimmen. Nicht der Leben soll der Mensch, wo's Gott a heilig in der Innen. Also ja. Tuter, Talmen, Tuter, Talmen, Herr Salmen. Salmen, Herrisch, Bäum, Kerrisch. Kerrisch, Bäum, Gewirre, Schleum. Schleum, Gewirre, Geld, Aschire. Aschire, Geld, Eulem, Feld. Feld, Eulem, Leimener, Geulem. Belfe, Gehelfe, Zepakte, Kneidlich, Saa, Kapure, für alle Meidlich. Limene Marons, Kim zum Tanz. Wie bist du gewesen auf jener Welt? Wusstest du gefunden, a Batel mit Geld? Verwusst hast es nicht gebracht, hab es nicht gekannt gefunden. Oi, dem Reben Spoddig brennt, soll brennen wie a Feier, soll wissen, Geld ist teuer, soll wissen, Geld zu scheunen, soll wissen, mit dem Wab zu wohnen. Also,
Michael Alpert, Eléonore Biezunski.
Another children's song, cumulative song. So by the end of the song, you should know it. Funem sheinem Wurzelarois is a sheinem Bäumarois. Bäum funem Wurzel von der Erd, sind es beschaffen Himmel und Erd. Funem sheinem Bäumarois is a sheinem Zweigarois. Zweig funem Bäum funem Wurzel von der Erd, sind es beschaffen Himmel und Erd. Funem sheinem Zweigarois is a sheinem Nestarois. Nest funem Zweig funem Bäum funem Wurzel von der Erd, sind es beschaffen Himmel und Erd. Funem sheinem Nestarois is a sheinem Vogelarois. Vogel funem Nest funem Zweig funem Bäum funem Wurzel von der Erd, sind es beschaffen Himmel und Erd. Funem sheinem Vogelarois is a sheinem Federarois. Feder funem Vogel funem Nest funem Zweig funem Bäum funem Wurzel von der Erd, sind es beschaffen Himmel und Erd. Funem sheinem Federarois is a sheinem Kirschnerois. Kirschen funem Feder funem Vogel funem Nest funem Zweig funem Bäum funem Wurzel von der Erd, sind es beschaffen Himmel und Erd. Funem sheinem Kirschnerois is a sheinem Cholemarois. Cholem funem Kirschen funem Feder funem Vogel funem Nest funem Zweig funem Bäum funem Wurzel von der Erd, sind es beschaffen Himmel und Erd. Lorin Sklamberg is singing next.
Please welcome on the piano Paulina Shepard. das erste Briefele schreibt mir, beten, bet ich dir mein süßes Leben, nicht vergessen sollst du mir, oi beten, bet ich dir mein süßes Leben, nicht vergessen sollst du mir. Sollst du sich nicht ertränken, oi wirst kommen an andere Mädel, sollst du mir gedenken, wirst kommen an andere Mädel, sollst du mir gedenken, mein Herz weint in mir, als ich dachte, jetzt mit dir, meine Gedanken nachher mit dir zu scheiden, ist mir schwer, meine Gedanken nachher mit dir zu scheiden, ist mir schwer. Thank you. Please welcome to the stage Ruth's nephew, Simon Spivak.
Wow. It's a scary thing when a speaker comes up with a loose leaf binder this big. And all these people are inspired by a small woman this big who carried a reel-to-reel KLH tape recorder about this big around the Pale Settlement, Russia, South America, and recorded, as I believe all of you appreciate, some gems from our people. But my job is not to recite scholarly or even cultural pearls, but to tell you who she was to her immediate family. And I think she was just as special in that realm as she proves to be culturally. So I have this loose leaf binder was just unearthed in Toronto from the garage of a cousin of mine. And of course, we have many treasures. You'll have to, if you want to steal them, go across the border. And hopefully you'll be let back in. And of course, my job is not to be political either. So I want to give you a couple of vignettes, about 1 minute each, and notes from a memoir of Ruthie's. I didn't know this existed until about a month ago. This is called The Seedling Years, Recollections from age 6 to 18. And sure, she was a giant in my eyes, but again, physically, she was not. And amongst the first recollections, or a paragraph here, she said of her growing up in this immigrant Jewish enclave in Montreal in the early part of the 1900s, our home was filled with wonderful stories of young people putting down new roots. Experiences and tales were shared constantly about people they had met on the journey across the ocean, and then on the street, in the factories, on the trains, in the new land. Not to be done, Mother would fill us in about the life she had known in the old country, where her mother, Grandma Elka, was the breadwinner, and where she, my mother being the eldest, had to run the bustling household during her absence. This was the way of the world. The men had it good. Skipping, one morning towards the end of a winter, the winter where her father died of tuberculosis, which was at the time the #1 killer in the world. She had a very traumatic moment where Mother was getting me ready for school. I was standing on a kitchen chair as she was putting my hair in braids. As usual, I asked her, when will Papa come home? At that time, he was in a sanitarium, TB sanitarium. This time, she burst into tears, stopped braiding my hair, and said softly, never. And then, Papa is dead. I turned around to look at her. What was she saying? Tears were trickling down her cheeks. I didn't know what to do. Mother never fondled me, but this time she put her arms around me, crying softly. I wriggled uncomfortably in her arms. What had happened? Was it forever? I felt a heavy lump in my chest, and I ran all the way to school with the face of my ailing father before me. In school, I sat down at my desk feeling an awful aloneness. I didn't see anyone in the room, not even the teacher, and suddenly I was struck with a great fright. I put my head down on the desk and wept and cried aloud. What is it, child? The teacher asked. I have no more father. I have no more father at all. The whole class stared at me. The teacher bent down, raised my head, and wiped my tears. I looked around at all those staring faces, and they seemed to be pointing at me and shouting, she has no father. She has no father anymore. No father at all. Ruthie knew pain. As many of you know, she lost her only son later in life. She had great joy, though. Great Uncle Hirsch's house fascinated me. During weekdays, we would play hide and seek, she says. My cousins shared their most special hideouts in the ramshackle flat with me. And one could hide behind doors where many layers of clothes hung. Of course, her uncle not only worked for somebody else as a shoykit, but actually had a sort of business on the side. And one Thursday afternoon when the chicken parade was especially intense, that is, people would come to get their chicken for Shabbos, slaughtered and prepped. The great Aunt Sosia, flushed and nervous, sat us younger ones around the table. Sit there, if you will, sit there quietly and let me finish what I have to do. I will give you something special. To cut to the chase, the special was the chicken liver. Now, Ruthie, who was one step away from being an orphan, put the entire chicken liver in her mouth. And she was admonished, have you no shame, have you no manners? And so she slowly removed the entire chicken liver, put it, and saved it, and savored it, no doubt, salivating in the interim. For my 9th birthday, Hyman, my great uncle, gave me a tricycle. A new world opened up for me. I would rush home from school, toss my books on the bed, rush upstairs, and mount my horse. I was a cowboy, a pioneer, an explorer, traveling many blocks away from home, far into the wonderful world of unknown streets and neighborhoods to the north and south and west of our room and board home. She indeed was a world traveler, even early on. The shul became her second home. She says, I was fascinated with the wonderful tales which spun from the soft-spoken Lara Slobotsky's mouth, like many colored ribbons floating in a gentle breeze. I sailed out on them and became a participant in the adventures of David, the young shepherd, who sang and played so sweetly for the somber and unhappy King Saul. I want to finish by recollecting her first solo performance in her own words. Now, these recollections, I believe, come when she's fully adult, but either she had a brilliant memory, which she did, or she was precocious in her writing capacities. But this was somewhere around age 7, I believe. And so she's at the shul, and she says, I recall my first solo performance at the annual concert of the shul at the Monument National Theater in Montreal. My heart trembled for days before the concert. I tossed in my sleep. I lost my appetite. At last the day arrived, and all the children were finally assembled in the great hall, with clusters standing, all dressed in white, in the wings, awaiting their turn to perform. When the curtain went up, it was like a beautiful picture, except that now I was in that picture. And before I registered as a student in the shul, I was looking at it from the balcony. So when my turn came to sing my song, Lara Rosmarin nodded to me as I stood in the first row of the chorus, went to the piano and struck the opening chords. But I stood there in the chorus and could not move. Lara Rosmarin beckoned to me, smiled to me, and played the opening chords again. I stood as if I were bewitched, and I was bewitched, for I had never seen such a large gathering of people all in one place, sitting together, staring at us all. Lara Rosmarin beckoned to me once more with a gentle smile, and I woke as if from sleep. Come, Rivkala, he whispered, it's your turn to sing. Come. My heart thumped and my knees shook. Then I gingerly walked forward and stood in the center of the stage as we had rehearsed. I felt dreadfully alone, almost abandoned, wondering what all those people wanted from me and why I was there. Suddenly I recalled that other time when I was part of that audience. Oh, it was different then. Once again, I heard Lara Rosmarin's opening chords on the piano. I looked in his direction helplessly, heaved a big sigh, and began to sing. Suddenly I stopped. I had forgotten the rest of the words. A deep stillness filled the huge theater. I felt my heart rising up in my throat, and I turned in panic to Lara Rosmarin, who was still smiling, and who was now coaxing me to continue. Go on, Rivkala, go on. It doesn't matter. Leave out the part you don't remember. I heaved another big sigh, and the words came back to me in a rush, and I finished the song. The applause was deafening. Boxes of candy were thrown up on the stage by Arthur, Hyman, and Sam, her uncles. Mother and Bertha walked over the stage, handed me a bouquet of flowers. I returned to my place in the chorus, and Lara Rosmarin said, you did very well, Rivkala. For weeks afterwards, I was reliving this unusual experience of my first performance. The family was proud of me, and the affection which flowed to me from relatives and friends made me feel both excited and uncomfortable. The shul became the center of my life.
Please welcome to the stage, Daniel Kahn.
And please welcome on the fiddle, Jake Schulman-Ment. It's the darkest song I've ever learned. Ich will singen das Covid Mendels Show. Covid sein Andenk.
Das leg ich sich schlafen und zu gucken. Und auf alles, ob ich errote, ob zurück kann ich nicht haben. Wo ich haben zurück kann ich nicht. All meine Hände sind verbunden und öffnen mein bitter Herz, aber es wollten sich die Wunden von mein Herzen. Ich kann sie keinem nicht entdecken und von mein Leben Neues zu schreiben, kein Tint und Feder wohl mir klecken. Ob Tint und Feder wohl schon ja klecken, dann wollten meine Hände nicht steigen und fahre dir meines Jesu Leben, wo ich die ganze Welt strahlen. Steh auf und ein Käfer und reist zu meinen Nähten. Durch eine Liebe geh ich herum, also wie ein Arrestant in Käden. Ein Arrestant, geht in Käden. Sto me jezer doch stake ver und als ich gehe in Kriegen misto me is doch mir von Gott wasche und als ich gehe in Kriegen misto me is doch mir von Gott wasche. Erg fijn. Dan met de gaten. Slobin Golden.
Adjusting over here. I feel like I'm kind of in a very depressing song sandwich over here. Ich hab nicht kein Schande, ich hab nicht kein Busche. Die Prophezie ist mir gekommen bei Jerusche. Ich soll nicht kämpfen, noch nehmen. Ich soll nicht kämpfen, noch nehmen. Yam diddy dai dai, yam diddy dai, yam bam bam. Wer hat nicht gekannt, mein Mann ist Latke, was jeden Tag verlegt sie in ein ander Jadke. Cholile nicht kämpfen, noch nehmen. Cholile nicht kämpfen, noch nehmen. Yam diddy dai, yam diddy dai, dam. Von meinen Taten hat jeder gehört. Itzik Gottesman, was
hat lieb bloß fremde Pferd. Meint nicht zu gehen, wenn noch nehmen. Meint nicht zu gehen, wenn noch nehmen. Yam tiri-rai, yam tiri-rai, yam tiri-rai, bam, bam. Und mein Schwester haben alle gekannt, Chanele die kurze mit die lange Hand. Sie pflegt nicht gammenen, noch nehmen. Sie pflegt nicht gammenen, noch nehmen. Yam tiri-rai, yam tiri-rai, bam, bam. Über 100 Jahre will ich alle meine Kinder überlassen, wo jedern Basinder. Sie sollen nicht gammenen, noch nehmen. Sie sollen nicht gammenen, noch nehmen. Yam tiri-rai, 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 bam, bam. And now, cantor Jeff Warschauer.
And the depressing songs continue. This poor guy, he's a sort of a taxi driver, and he's having a career crisis, he's having a marriage crisis, he's having some substance abuse issues. He needs counseling, but it probably wasn't available in Eastern Europe in the 19th century. Hab ich mit der Spann gedeckt mit schwarzen Leder. 2 Leben für und 4 Räder. Und die Räder drehen nicht und die Pferd gehen nicht und die Weib, sie schielt sich und ein Gläserbrand von der Wild sich. Seh ich mir stehen, sitz ich mir und wein. Wollt ich wenn ein Seucher, ob ich nicht kein Scheure. Wollt ich wenn am Lammen, kenn ich nicht kein Teure. Und die Räder drehen nicht und die Pferde gehen nicht und die Weib, sie schielt sich. Und ein Gläserbrand von der Wild sich, seh ich mir stehen, sitz ich mir und wein. Wollt ich wenn ein Schuster, ob ich nicht kein Ohr. Wollt ich wenn kein Kopf. Und die Räder drehen nicht und die Pferde gehen nicht und die Weib, sie schielt sich und ein Gläserbrand von der Wild sich. Seh ich mir stehen, sitz ich mir und wein. Please welcome the absolutely amazing Joanne Borts.
Schein aufstehen mit meine kranke Beine zu der Arbeit gehen. Zu Gott will ich weinen mit a groß gewein. Zu was bin ich geboren, an Ätern zu sein. Zu Gott will ich weinen, mit a groß gewein. Zu was bin ich geboren, an Ätern zu sein. Komm spät zu der Arbeit, sie ist weiter weg. Schlag man mir ab, halbe Tag. Zu Gott will ich weinen, mit der groß gewein. Zu was bin ich geboren, an Ätern zu sein. Zu Gott will ich weinen, mit der groß gewein. Zu was bin ich geboren, an Ätern zu sein. Nodeln werden zerbrochen, 15 Minute. Die Finger werden zerstochen, Srin von See das Blut. Zu Gott will ich weinen, mit der groß gewein. Zu was bin ich geboren, an Ätern zu sein. Zu Gott will ich weinen, mit der groß gewein. Zu was bin ich geboren, an Ätern zu sein. Ich leid ständig Hunger, hab nicht was zu essen. Will ich Geld beten, heißen mir vergessen. Zu Gott will ich weinen, mit der groß gewein. Zu was bin ich geboren, an Ätern zu sein. Und zu Gott will ich weinen, mit der groß gewein. Zu was bin ich geboren, an Ätern zu sein. Dankeschön. Ladies and gentlemen, please, it's my privilege to welcome national treasure and the most beautiful singer we have here.
Yes, yes, it's true. True.
Ethel Raim.
Well, after that, it'll be amazing if I can sing the song. Yeah. Was that good? Steh ich mir bei meinen Taten auf der Tür, was hab ich du zu sorgen? Du geht ich mein schön golden Silber, und sucht mir raget morgen. De wusse raget morgen, saget jur, sei gesinnt, excuse me, sei gesinnt, mein Leben, mit deine blonden Haar. Nicht so die blonde Haare wie die schwarze Augen. Es ist nicht so schön golden Silber, wo soll zu meinem Herzen teugen? In meinem Herzen brennt ein Feuer, keiner kann es nicht verlöschen. Als ich der Mond sich in dir mein Teuer Leben, kann ich in dir nicht vergessen. Oh, Häufen Pripyatschik liegt auf Feierl. Sorry. Von dem Käumen geht a Reuer. Als ich der Mond sich in dir mein Teier leben, geht mir aus mein Keuer. Zu weinen will ich mein Leben, noch der Zieh zu klugen. Als a schön golden Silber wie ich hab ungewöhren, in Gott nur weiß ich, wer schon hab. And now please welcome Cindy Ruchel, Cindy Rivke Marshall, who made the very beautiful film about Ruth Rubin.
Hi there, everyone. So wonderful to be here. Came down from Boston for this event, and I produced and directed the documentary about Ruth Rubin called A Life of Song. I released it in 1986, and to my delight, a few months ago, it became part of this online archive. So if you go, well, it's not up there now, but if you go to that homepage and click on video, you'll find A Life of Song, and you can watch it there. I'm going to just share with you a little bit of my stories of my friendship with Ruth. It's the late 1990s. I'm in Mamaroneck, New York. I've brought with me the film that I made about Ruth, and now I'm visiting her at the nursing home. I put the cassette in the VCR, and I pull up a chair close to the TV. And Ruth sits there watching. She's humming along with a little smile on her face. She's nodding, impressed, approving of this woman on the screen who has such vast knowledge about Yiddish folk song and who sings so beautifully. As I watch her, I am not sure if she realizes she is watching herself on the TV. I think back to when I first contacted Ruth. It was 1982. A friend of a friend suggested that I interview her because I wanted to make a documentary with oral histories of Jewish women. At first, I spoke to her on the phone, and I said, I'm hoping I can videotape you when you come for the Jewish Book Fair. I'd like to bring my equipment, and then after your performance, I'll interview you. And she said, I must tell you, you can interview me, that's fine, but you cannot set up any lights at all. Well, but if I don't have lights, the quality of the image won't be very good. I can just set a few and I won't bother you. No, she said. You see, I am not a performer. I am offering a lecture recital, and I must be able to see the faces of my listeners. I can't have lights in my eyes. Okay, I'll come anyway with my camera, and I'll look forward to meeting you. Well, after I met Ruth, and I looked at this footage later, I thought to myself, she warrants a whole documentary about her. So I began to go and visit her in New York City. And I went to her apartment near Gramercy Park, and she opened the door and welcomed me like I was a member of the family. I sat at her table, and she fed me, and she really nurtured me with her stories about her life and her work. And, you know, Ruth revels in the idea that there were young people interested in her work, interested in Yiddish folk songs. And she called herself the bridge the bridge from one generation to another. I got a chance to actually read that memoir that Simon read from. And when I read about her childhood in Montreal, I got this idea. I said, Ruth, how about if we go up to Montreal? You know, I found out that that Monument National Theater where you first performed when you were a child is still there. And she said, oh, well, if we go to Montreal, you know, my sister Esther still lives there. You better call her, she'll help you. And sure enough, she did help me. She was very connected. And we did a video shoot up in Montreal, not only at the Monument National Theater, and you can see Ruth's version of that story on the video, but also we recreated a collecting session there with many of the people whom she had collected Yiddish folk songs from in Montreal came and gathered at the library, and we were able to record that. So I'm raising funds little by little for this documentary, and it's taking years. And I'm not always sure of what I'm doing. I confessed to Ruth one day, you know, I want to do this shoot. I'm not exactly sure how I'll use the footage. She says, it's okay. First, you collect your material. Then you will figure out how to use it. And I loved it that she understood that my process was not unlike her own, and that I too shared her commitment and her passion to record and document Jewish culture. And her faith in me really gave me confidence to keep going. It's 1986. I have finally finished the film, and Ruth has only seen a rough edit. She hasn't seen the final thing, and she travels to Boston, where I'm doing the world premiere. She sits right next to me in the audience, and we're watching it, and I keep looking at her to see her reaction. And finally, as the credits roll, she grabs my hand and she smiles and nods approvingly. And this was the best review I ever got. So now here we are today. You know, when I look back at the film, I made it more than 30 years ago. And it's now more than 18 years since we lost Ruth. And I'm just filled with gratitude that I had that opportunity to record Ruth's personality, her warmth, her amazing dedication, and her voice. She was much more than a subject of a film for me. We became very close and remained close for the remainder of her life. She was also a very supportive friend to me and a mentor in ways that she never really even lived to see. But after being a filmmaker for many years, I became a storyteller, a Jewish storyteller, working with folklore. And a lot of what she taught me very much influenced my work and still does. So now, when I don't know how many of you have had a chance to go online and see this amazing legacy archive, but just a click of your mouse brings you to a recording of people, you know, like a woman in the Bronx in the late 40s who is singing a song, and I can just imagine Ruth sitting there. She lugged that heavy recording equipment all around, and she's encouraging the singer to zing, zing. And I just know that she would be amazed at this thing that is now online, that her archive, which she very carefully placed in many archives around the world, but now is so accessible to so many. I think she would be really delighted. So just recently, YIVO was able to, through amazing serendipity, found the outtakes of my footage that I had donated and kind of forgotten even where it was. And it was rediscovered and now digitized. So Lorin has informed me that he wants to show you a few clips of the outtakes. And these, I imagine, at some point will also be online. So you'll see a little bit of Ruth talking about her process, and also a scene from the folk song collecting session in Montreal this one that did not make it into the documentary, but I do urge you to watch the documentary online at your leisure. So thank you so much.
Something about how you collected these songs. How did you do the field work?
Very primitively. I started personally in the home with a Wilcox Gay machine. A Wilcox Gay record cut was a recording like a gramophone, where you could cut your own shellacked records. A very heavy thing to carry around, I assure you. But I had it in the house, and then when I used to get arrangements like in the library that time to collect, before I had the tape machine, before the tape machine there was the wire recorder, which I wasn't able to use. It always used to get tangled with me. So when the tape machine came along, that was different. Then I transferred all my record cuts onto tape and started my library then, my collection library. And then I went around with my tape machine.
But how did you identify the people that would know songs?
Well, I didn't identify them. I used to, for instance, phone a center, a Jewish community center, and say, or they would invite me to lecture. I was already lecturing by then. I'd say, I will lecture if you give me the privilege of, at the end of my lecture, that I should collect from the people. So they said, if they'll want to sing, we have no objections. So this thing happened at centers, at libraries, at homes for the aged, where I would be through with my period. There wouldn't be a whole hour like here, because in those places the attention span was a little less. But I would begin and I sang, and they recognize their own songs. I sing them as they do, actually, except there are variants. And then I'd say, well, now will you share your songs with me? And then I had already provoked their memories and stimulated them, and then it was wonderful that way. And this is a kind of a group collecting, which was not widespread at all in the folkloristic world. I had wonderful anecdotes about that too. In Montreal, there was a couple. He was a house painter and she was an artistic painter. And she still is. Her father was a great painter. And they came to my collecting sessions in the public library, and they were waiting to be taped. They used to wait their turn. And every time she began to sing, there was an interruption at the door. So we had to stop to see what happened. Finally, I said to her, she blushed, so I said to her, what's the matter? She says, my husband's sitting near the door. He's making me disturbance. So I said to her, why? She says, because he doesn't like maybe perhaps the way I interpret the songs, because he taught me most of them. She was born there, he was born in Europe. And she sang very lovely, very beautifully. And I said to her, well, you know what? You continue irritating him. He'll come up and he won't be able to stand it. So he'll come up and he'll sing and we'll get the authentic thing too. She said, that's good. So that's what she did. She kept on singing. He got so annoyed. Before I knew it, I was busy with the apparatus. I look up, he's sitting right there beside her. And so some of the songs turned into duets between the two of them. And then you both knew the songs. And later on, he was one of my finest informants of that period. He was marvelous, a wonderful singer himself. Not in any platform manner, but his interpretations were beautiful, authentic and real, and very lovely, and so forth.
Yoi, 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 yum, yoi, bye, 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 yabba, bum, yoi, bye, 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 yoi, bye, 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 baba, bum, yabba, baba, bye, baba, bye, 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 yabba, baba, bye, baba, bye, 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 yabba, baba, bye, baba, bye, 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 yoi, yabba, bye, bye.
And I'd like to invite Paulina Shepard and Jacob Schulman-Ment. We're going to do a song about the hot new dance craze of the 80s, the 1880s. I like this song because it proves that almost nothing has changed since then. Ze leben, ze haben im Plasma kein Groschen zu geben. Oi, Pinske, Mädelach und Waschabjankes, tanzen, tanzen sie wie Galagankes, und aus rufen sie euch erleben, Kadoches haben sie dem Plasma zu geben. A Groschen means ist nicht kein Sack. Ich soll dir spielen eine ganze Nacht. Nacht ist kein Sekunde, mit Tonnen hast noch auf dem Wagen am Monne. An Monne hat kalte Fies. I schrein mir der Ladies zu Kessis. Ja, da, 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 Stein. I schrein ihm gar nicht das Morgen. This is a nice sing-along, if anybody wants to sing along on the repetitions. Wenn wann kommt geht der Brüder, wenn der Kolemeke, wenn der Kolemeke, hat nicht gesehen ein schöner Mädel mit Namen Leke, hat ihn nicht gesehen ein schöner Mädel mit Namen Leke. Ja, gesehen, nicht gesehen, willen mir auch nicht sagen, willen mir auch nicht sagen. Tita Chapa, Pferd und Wogen, in Titir noch jagen. Tita Chapa, Pferd und Wogen, in Titir noch jagen. Wir sehnen herein, in Kretschmer herein, heißt men uns setzen, heißt men uns setzen. Geschälte Barabuljes heißt men uns essen. Geschälte Barabuljes heißt men uns essen. Geschälte Barabuljes sennen sehr mies, sennen sehr mies. Auf den Neuven sitzt ein Mädel, sie ist zicker, sie ist. Auf den Neuven sitzt ein Mädel, sie ist zicker, sie ist. Hey du, richtig zu, setz dich neben mir, setz dich neben mir. Und als du willst der Liebe spielen, spiel je nur mit mir. Und als du willst der Liebe spielen, spiel je nur Now I would like to bring to the stage, all the way from São Paulo, Brazil, where she founded her own Jewish music festival, Klez Festival. Klestival. How could I forget that? Klestival. Nicole Borger.
Out of the desire of bringing Yiddish songs to the Brazilian public, I had this idea of translating some of the songs into Portuguese. So this song, Schlof mein Fegele, sing it half in Portuguese, half in Yiddish.
Dorme, filhinho, meu bebezinho, como passarinho. Dorme, filhinho, fecha os olhinhos, feito passarinho. Que o anjo da guarda proteja o teu sono, que você durma em paz. Que ele estenda as suas asas e cubra o teu berço. Durma, meu rapaz. Schlaf in Frieden, wees fin kein Leben. Schlaf mein Teierkind. Schlaf in Frieden, wees fin kein Leben. Schlaf sehr ausgesinnt. Mein kleiner Fegele, schlaf, mein Kind, schlaf. Schlaf du, mein Fegele, mach zu dein Egele, schlaf, mein Kind, schlaf. Que o anjo da guarda proteja o teu sono, que você durma em paz. Que ele estenda as suas asas e cubra o teu berço. Durma, meu rapaz. Schlaf in Frieden, wees fin kein Leben. Schlaf mein Teierkind. Schlaf in Frieden, wees fin kein Leben. Schlaf sehr ausgesinnt. Dorme, filhinho, meu bebezinho, como passarinho.
And now a song that I learned with Lorin, from Lorin, with Lorin, about adultery in the Städte. Komm ich zu mein geliebter Freu, gefinnen ins und zwei. In Kirch stehen Stiefel, 1, 2, 3. Frag ich zu mein geliebter Freu, was für a Stündel singen sie. Entfällt sie mir stecklichlich, die Mama schickt mir sie. Stecklichlich. Stecklichlich was?
mit heuche Cholofkes. Oi, weh, das Herz tut mir weh, als ich bin dein Mann, fahr was bedarfst du sehen. Geh mich zu mein geliebter Freu, gefinn ich 1 und 2. Auf den Wand hängen Schwerden, 1, 2, 3. Frag ich bei mein geliebter Freu, was Pfarrer Schwerden sein sie.
Entfährt sie mir Hackmessers, die Mama schickt mir sie.
Hackmessers mit lange Franjalach. Oi, weh, das Herz tut mir weh, als ich bin dein Mann, fahr was bedarfst du sehen. Komm ich zu mein geliebter Freu, gefinn ihn 1 und 2. Auf dem Bett liegen Käppelach, 1, 2, 3, oi! Frag ich bei mein geliebter Freu, was für a Käppelach seinen sie? Entfährt sie mir Kinderlach, die Mama schickt mir sie. Kinderlach mit schwarzer Wunzerlach. Oi, weh, das Herz tut mir weh, als ich bin dein Mann, fahr was bedarfst du sehen.
Oh, Sasha Lurje.
I'm going to assume you're having a little too much fun. And get us back to the sad song, into the sad song department. This is a beautiful love song that ends in a suicide, so.
Spoiler alert.
Okay. Oi, vem Mama, ich führe Liebe, in findere Liebe, dit mir weh mein Herz. In findere Liebe, dit mir weh mein Herz. Oh, jafnt Menschen, naiere Augen, wird sehen, so wie Keule schwarz. Oh, jafnt Menschen, naiere Augen, wird sehen, so wie Keule schwarz. Spazieren bin ich mit mein Geliebten gegangen. Die Pagode ist gewesen schrecklich kalt. Die Pagode ist gewesen schrecklich kalt. Oh, ja, es geht hin, ob ich mein Seidentichale in sie gebinden, ob ich in sein Holz. Oh, ja, es geht hin, ob ich meine Seidentichale in sie gebinden, ob ich in sein Holz. Spazieren bin ich mit mein Geliebten gegangen. Gegangen sind mir in a tiefen Wald. Gegangen sind mir in a tiefen Wald. Oh, hat mir nie gewollt geheulen. Hintergestellt hab ich mein Holz, oh, wenn mir hat hier gewollt geheulen. Hintergestellt hab ich mein Holz. Euer Riese weg, ach Hussen werden, stehen will ich hinter dem Fenster bei. Oi stehen will ich hinter dem Fenster bei. Oi Norwegen, oi wie nur me dort Teller brechen. Am anse Moment weil ich sehe Juanetin, oi wie nur me dort Teller brechen. Am anse Moment weil ich sehe Juanetin. Done. And this is my pleasure and privilege to introduce Mr. Josh Waletzky.
I'm going to sing you a song which I sang for Ruth Rubin many years ago. I was probably one of her youngest informants. I was at Camp Biberich, and Ruth Rubin came to give a lecture. Hecha. Ruth Rubin came to give a lecture performance at Camp Biberich, and she heard that there was a young man that knew a song that was kind of rare. That was the song that I'm going to sing now, one that I learned from my father, as der Heilige Mashiach wird kommen. And I'm going to invite you to sing along. You'll know when the part is that you say. Chitty bim bum, chitty bitty bum, chitty bitty 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 bim bum, chitty bim bum, chitty bitty bum, chitty bitty 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 bim bum, chitty bim bum, chitty bitty bum, chitty bitty 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 bim bum, chitty bim bum, chitty bitty bum, chitty bitty 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 bim bum. Und als der Heilige Mashiach wird kommen, will sein der Erste auf der Schlacht. Auf die Datschen wird man sich nehmen, wenn sie schlagen Tag wie Nacht. Gore und Pulver und Blei, Keulen werden fliehen überall. Und als der Rebbe wird noch zugeben, a Possig dabei, wie streu werden die Datschen fallen. Und es wird noch zu helfen, Surach und Borach, Jankiv, Daniel, Sindel, Grindel, Chaim, Schmiel, Berel, Schmerel, Getzel, Asriel, und während das ganze Kränzel, Keile, Beile, Jentes, Osse, Chane, Brane, Jachnit, Wusse, Zimne, Blimme, Persi und Rosse, werden tanzen das Witzbeten. So, chitty bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam, chitty bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam, bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam, chitty bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam. Der Rebbe wird sein der Kommandant. Wird kommandieren, hin und her. Und ich will sein Adjutant. Ich sieh ihm das Militär. Und als der Rebbe wird anfangen von Teuer zu schmeißen, zu beweisen seine Hawaiiers. Also werden ich sieh ihm anhalten zu schießen. Ab die Drabes, ab die Holteiers. Und es wird noch zu helfen, Surach und Borach, Jankiv, Daniel, Sindel, Grindel, Chaim, Schwiel, Berel, Schmerel, Getzel, Aschwil, und während das ganze Kränzel, Kehle, Bele, Jente, Sosse, Chane, Breine, Jachtet, Wosse, Simme, Blimme, Persen, Rosse. Werden tanzen das Mitzvah-Tänzel. Chitty bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam, chitty bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam, chitty bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam, chitty bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam. Die Datschen, sie werden doch poschedielt. Sie wissen nicht, was sie sollen tun. Sie haben einen Tanz, was sie schmadrillt. Einer läuft daher und der andere hin. Und die Datschke, was zimbelt auf dem Schlammbild, mit feierdicke Knädlach essen. Und als der Rebbe wird auflegen sein Lappe auf ihr, wird sie in Symbol vergessen. Und es wird noch zu helfen, Surach und Borach, Jankiv, Daniel, Sindel, Grindel, Chaim, Schmiel, Berel, Schmerel, Getzel, Aschwil, und gegen das ganze Kränzel. Kehle, Bele, Jente, Sosse, Chane, Breine, Jachtet, Wosse, Simme, Blinde, Persen, Rosse. Werden tanzen das Mitzvah-Tänzel. Chitty bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam, chitty bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam, chitty bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam, chitty bim bam, chitty bitty bam, chitty bitty 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 bim bam. Hey. And thank you to Deborah Strauss and Jake Schulman. And now it is my great privilege to introduce Professor Mark Slobin.
This is a little section that I'm going to present, and oh, sorry. It's coming, any second now. Hecher, hecher. In this little section before the end of the show, I and Itzik Gottesman are going to play a couple of recordings of older singers to kind of round out the soundscape of this event. One of the great types of songs that Ruth Rubin collected was what are called mischsprachige Lieder, songs in mixed language songs. Yiddish singers blended languages even within a song for different reasons, sometimes just for fun. There's a song that she particularly liked and recorded called O'Brien, and it works like that. It was written in the 1920s by a Canadian fellow called Philip Nye. My father used to sing this. He must have picked it up when he was pretty young. He was born in Detroit, and so he's an American, but he loved these kinds of songs. He married an immigrant girl, and they and their circle used to love to sit around and translate Gilbert and Sullivan to Yiddish, Shakespeare into Yiddish, to play with the languages that they knew, because this put them at a certain distance from the immigrant kind of mentality, and it gave them an opportunity to play with resources that they had, which is what Jews always do in their songs, as you've already heard tonight. So this song is quite weird. It's called O'Brien. Why is the Jewish narrator asking for a loan from an Irishman? Well, this was the time of the Cohens and the Kellys, great showbiz hits in America on stage. And my father always sang this with a Yiddish accent, which was not his native speech. He was underlining the caricature. That's another distancing effect. He loved these kinds of vaudevillian songs. Finally, this mixing in of Lashon Kodesh lines in the middle of Yiddish with English. This is pretty old. It reminds one of Shalom Aleichem with Tevye and his garbled lines that he's always bringing in from the Talmud. So O'Brien offers some continuities with European traditions of linguistic and musical play, and it's very resonant for the generations that Ruth was collecting from. The setting for this very short version you're going to hear of O'Brien is from an evening at home that I happened to tape in the 1960s, or I guess 70s maybe. He could have been one of her singers. I remember they said, my parents, they met her when she came to Detroit. So people would just sing songs in the circle I grew up in. Her version of O'Brien, as you'll see in the text, is different from his, and the version that this recording is not the one that I necessarily remember him doing, and he stops and remembers the tune, so it's very folkloristic. So this song is amazing, the rhymes and the stuff. I mean, to rhyme "on main cellar" with "jolly good fellow" is the spirit of that time. It's the spirit, I would say, of this kind of slightly post-immigrant generation. So here's my dad singing O'Brien.
O'Brien, give me a glass of yayin right now. Yeah, O'Brien, give me a glass of yayin right now. Yayin Yisavach levavenesh, there's nothing without a blemish. There's nothing without a blemish which nobody can deny. Oy tzores which nobody can deny. Chotch leig sich und die. Yeshua's nechomes o mein selo. Ad Hashem is a jolly good fellow. Ad Hashem is a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny. O'Brien, poszedł mnie kachak miałaś chesed lion right now. O'Brien, poszedł mnie kachak miałaś chesed lion right now. Al pastir chasdecho mimeni, I'm broke without a penny. I'm broke without a penny, which nobody can deny. Oy tzores which nobody can deny. Yeshua's nechomes o mein selo. Ad Hashem is a jolly good fellow. Hashem is a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny. O'Brien, ich muss Chasne machen mein Chayen right now. O'Brien, ich muss Chasne machen mein Chayen right now. Es biti hat's nur schon morti, she's somewhat around somewhat around 40, which nobody can deny. Oy tzores which nobody can deny. But nicht gedeiget mit einem großen Gott, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny. O'Brien, ich muss mir von meinem Alter Zoreba befreien right now. Oh Brian, ich muss mir von mein alter Zorre befreien right now. Hevel hat volume Marco Helles, that poor thing is very jealous. That poor thing is very jealous, which nobody can be.
Well, each song in the Ruth Rubin collection is worth more study and commentary. I want to say a few words about two songs. Hast du Beilig Gitten Made, I found twice in the Yiddish literature. It was sung by Jewish draft dodgers in Galicia. It was part of the melody you'll hear is a kolameka, which is already a mixed dance, and as you'll see in the first two versions, rather a bawdy song. First verse about drinking too much and really coming onto the girl. The second verse about skipping out on the tab. And then there's this third verse, which I didn't find in the Yiddish literature, and the singer, Israel Platner, explains that this was a Hasidic song, so it's a total opposite interpretation of the song. Because of the name Bela, it was sung in honor of the mother of the Rapshitzer Rebbe. His mother was named Bela in his dialect, Bela, and so they interpreted it complete opposite in a Hasidic way. And so he has a third verse, Wollt euch gewiss wie du bist, and we're actually going to play it, which has really nothing to do with the first two verses, but it makes it kosher. So let's hear his version. Hast du Beile Gitten Made? Hello?
Hast du Beile Gitten Made, was Herr dem Heiber, willst du wissen, es ist schon spät, 12 ist der Seiger, gegessen, getrinken, hat nisse Batzul, hab das Bäckel mit den Säckel und ist weggefuhren. Wollt ich gewusst, wie du bist, wollt ich zu dir geflogen, mit der Hände, mit der Füße, mit der grünen Augen.
Okay, he says the third verse is about the Shechina, the divine presence. Okay. So the second song, I was reading memoirs of the folklorist Shmuel Lehman, who collected in the poor neighborhoods of Warsaw, and he was collecting this 9, 10-year-old, or maybe 11-year-old girl, and it was a very strange sight to see someone writing down what a person was singing at that time. And so the neighborhood got together as he was recording her, when I say recording, writing it down, and they got closer and closer, and he started to sweat and get afraid of this crowd that was encroaching on him. And she made up this song at that point. She goes, "Where is the guy in the brimmed hat? His hat gets banged on, and he's sent home for Sabbath. Here is the guy with his brimmed hat. When he gets his hat banged on, he begins to sweat." So I didn't realize it then, but that verse was completely made up by the girl singer at the time. And then, in the Ruth Rubin archive, there is a version sung by the great Harry Arey, who is the guy who was waiting at the door in Montreal, who was, right? So we're going to hear his version of this song, which it turns out, then I kept looking for versions of the song, and it's from Vilna, and there was it's one of those songs that has 10 parodies made of it, and so it was fit in totally with the character of this girl to make it up on the spot. So let's hear Harry Arey sing Geht a Yolden Kapelush.
Geht a Yolden Kapelush, macht die Fantasie, man nimmt dem auf dem Kapelush, man schmiert dem Mäus in Sase, und so in die Jolde klach, Jolde wat de Jaten, treibt dem Yolden Kapelush und in sein Tatens Taten. Geht a Yolden Kapelush, tragt der Ramanischke, fehlt dem reinen Schöbekuchen, mir fehlt dem Munde Kischke, und da so in die Jolde klach, Jolde wat de Jaten, treibt dem Jolden Kapelush und in sein Tatens Taten. Git a Joldin Kapelusch mit a paar Betworten, a geht a Ruf auf Novigrad, verspielt es in Korten. Ot a so eine Jolde klach, Jolde wat de Jaten, treibt dem Joldin Kapelusch und in sein Tatenstaten.
So you recognize the melody, all you boy Kahn out there recognize the melody. Everyone who's done Russian two-step and international folk dance recognizes it. Anyway, so this shows the development of the variation of the songs that are found in the Ruth Rubin archive. Thank you. And now, all the way from Kishinev, Yefim Chorny and Susan Gergus.
Two short tunes from Ruth Rubin on the same melody, on the music of Moldovan dance, Moldoveneaska, which is known already in Moldova, like from beginning of the 19th century. Hoi der Reuter briken jas, meret noch in mamseln. Hoi die Mädlich is an euch schappenisch, sie gehen mit Kavalieren. A ganzen Tag, a ganze Nacht, verkäm ich mir die Lockens. Und neu, mein Liebster, kommt sie gehen, verscher ich mir die Polkes. Die Mama kiegt mir noch und hebt mich rund zu schelten. Soll's gehen von Gich in der da rein, als die vierste Säune Welten. Scha, scha, Mame, ob mich kein Jesieren. Ich will dir schicken, Schalachamunes, an einig läuft Pirem. Scha, scha, Mame, ob mich kein Jesieren. Ich will dir schicken, Schalachamunes, an einig läuft Pirem. Seht sich mir in Stäbele, ein Kek heraus ins Fenster, und war das Kommen selbst schon bald, der was ist mein Schönster. Bahnen laufen zwei a Tag, eine kommt in Abend, klingt a Gleckerle, klingt lang, ist schon Abend. Es klappt und tappt die Tür, ruft mich aus bei Namen, ich lauf heraus a Borwesse, ist gekommen. Und jetzt kommt ein Lied. Now, yeah. Okay. And now a song from same melody. It's from the Russian-Romanian famous singer Pyotr Leschenko. Maybe you know his name. Besarabianka. The lyrics are translated in Yiddish by Moshe Lemster. Mein Altheim, noch dir das Herz mein Haupt mal weint, seh ich allem dir bei Nacht, weil dort die Zeit verbracht, dort geblieben meine Freund, in See der Mond sich beseint, denken will ich noch jahrelang, noch jenem blühendigen Kant, Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, hat sie keine Rina-Flamm, Augen liebten, als mir bricht, in Markon bin ich verliebt. Ai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, ai-da-dai-da-da-da-dai-dai-dai, ai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, ai-da-dai-da-da-da-dai-dai-dai, ai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, ich gedenk die Lebone Schein und dem Breg beim stillen Teich, wie macht Golle zwischen groß, ist geworden meine dort. Feuer werde, tra-la-la-la-la-la, a Zigeunerin auf Lamm. Augenlippen, als mir bricht, in Markion bin ich verliebt. Ai-la-la-la-la-la-la, Jetzt alles gelitten in dem Weg, noch mein Leben not von Snei, wie der Liebe hell was scheint. Neu mein Leben geht sehr weit, Nächten fährt an euch eint, mit dem großen Schneckparfum, wenn mein Liebe klemmerum. Feuer werde, tra-la-la-la-la-la, hat Zigeunerin auf Lang, Augenlippen, das ist schön, besser hab ich mein Name. La-la-la-la-la-la-la, they drew me! Now, I think I also have a privilege. Eléonore Biezunski and group of musicians.
Michael Alpert, Jake Schulman-Mann, and Deborah Strauss. mit drei Klingen, eine Maschine, die ein Finger spielt, sag mal, er spielt zum Teil, mit den Füßen, klack, 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 und wir alle freier sein, ja, trinken Bronfen, trinken Wein, ja, Thank you. Lorin Sklamberg.
Okay, one more.
But this one more has 1 and 2.
Yes. Thanks to Ruth Rubin.
Der Pläne, was von eins cannot werden. Eins ist beim Kostenstisch, wo man esst und wo man trinkt, wo man heult und man singt. Jolala, 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 jolala.
Ich will euch geben zu der Klärung.
Was von drei, kein als wären drei Sennen, die Meritonen, was sie zählen, die Messemonen.
Zwei Sennen, die Kostenkalle, was sie stehen, Liberale. Eins ist beim Kostenstisch, wo man esst und wo man trinkt, wo man heult und man singt. Jolala, jolala, jolala,
Will ich geben zu der Klärung, was von vier kann als werden. Vier sind in die Gruppe stangen, Chossen Kalle, auf vier gegangen.
Drei sind in die Mechotonen, wo sie zählen, die Messemonen. Zwei sind in die Chossen Kalle, wo sie stehen, Liberale. Eins ist am Kostenstisch, wo man esst und wo man trinkt, wo man
was von Fine, gern als werden, Fine Sennen, Dickles Morim, Voice spielen bei Rachen, Rumorem.
Wir sind die Gruppenstangen, was in Kalle, hat wir gegangen. Drei Sennen, die Mechotonen, was sie zählen, die Messemonen. Zwei Sennen, die Chossen Kalle, wo sie stehen, die Liberale. Eins ist am Kostenstisch, wo man esst und wo man trinkt, wo man Sechs kann noch werden, 6 sein in die Wochentag, was betordet, was bemeint. Wir sind in die Personen, was ich will, aber ich verloren. Wir sind in die Gruppenstangen, was ich kann, was bin gegangen. Drei sind in die Mechotonen, was ich will, die Messemonen. Zwei sind in die Kostenkalle, was ich will, die Liberale. Eins ist am Kostenstisch, wo man esst und wo man trinkt, wo man heult und man singt.
gleich geben zu erklären, was von 7 kann als werden. 7 sehen in die Schäfe Broches, mir soll zu nah, die mir gibt kein Doches. 6 sehen in die 6 Tage, was mit Tore, was mit Meg. 4 sehen in die was wollen, was ich will, von einfach noch. 4 sehen in die Rufbestand, was in Kabel, wir gegangen. 3 sehen in die Methatonen, was ich will, in die Metamornen. 10 sehen in die was in Kabel, was ich stehe, in die Liberale. 1 sehen in die was ich will, I go my hands, I go my thing, I go my
When the wedding was performed and the ceremonies were finished and everything was now gay. In some places they celebrated for 7 whole days, depending upon your economic status, I suppose. So then they really had fun. And here was a little square dance which they danced, which is half nonsense and half wit, whatever. But the melody is gay, absolutely, when the lid was off. This too was Bessarabian. Hat sich mir der Siebten, hat sich mir zerbrochen, hat sich mir der Schicht zerrissen, tanz von meine Socken, tanz gegen mir und ich gegen die, die ist mit der Meide, mein Echel nehmen die Schnier. Zerbrochen ist der Lockschentopf verbrennt in der Hete, tanzen die macht eines, ist die Kalle in der Mitte, tanz gegen mir und ich gegen die ist mit der Meide, mein Echel nehmen die Schnier. Ich muss es sagen, Kalle, so die ganze Mischpoche, tanzen auf der Gassen in Masel in einem Bruche, tanz gegen mir und ich gegen die ist mit der Meide, aber Echel nehmen the Schnee.